Stopping the manufacture and sale of methamphetamines remains one of our highest priorities. And the theft of lab equipment from your school is also receiving our highest attention.
Okay.
If you have any questions, now would be the time. Sir?
You're talking like you haven't caught anybody yet.
Wow.
What about the janitor that was dealing drugs at the
What are you thinking, Walt? What are you looking at?
So whoever took it had a key. We're talking inside job?
My oh my, Walt. Still high from the previous episode, right? Like that.
You know what I like to see in this school? Drug sniffing dogs.
Yeah, you had dogs and metal detectors.
Skylar is.
The students were high on LSD. LSD? What were you going to tell us about LSD? No, please. No one said anything about LSD.
This going on while they're talking about LSD. Right. This is quite a way to start an episode. That's for sure.
Walt? Effort to be with us here.
Skylar coughing. Yes, nothing weird happened between them during that time. Yes.
5,000 milliliter round bottom boiling flask. One Keldall style recovery flask, 800 milliliters. 2 full face respirators. Some set funnels, some head with a thermometer holder.
Man, contrasting the first episode to the final episode. Yeah, Walter is feeling, that high, right? The thing that he was feeling at the end of the previous episode when he was, when he was able to go off against Tuco, and now here, right? The fact that he was able to get away with it, that feeling of I can do anything, right? That feeling of power.
The basement, unfinished of course, but just look at all this space. You gotta think rec room, media room. Imagine all the things you could do down here.
Interesting.
Now remember, you're buying for this fantastic.
Yeah.
What happened there?
You don't want to know.
But this house has great bones.
It doesn't have just bones. It has some meat as well. The bullet holes are still there.
About as good as you look. Jeez, you look like Lex Luthor.
Literally a supervillain.
You didn't actually go see Tuco.
Oh, you would be surprised, Jesse. You would be surprised.
You see what he did to me?
Because I think that we can do business together. We came to an understanding.
No way, man. Okay, no understanding.
I mean, it's understandable why Jesse would feel this way, right? He literally got hurt because of Tuco, right? No trust in him. Love the lighting in this scene, by the way.
And he's even more physical. I mean, that's got to be a good sign, right?
Sure, I'll take that. Right, Walt? Well, realistically, it may just mean that we've got the antiemetics tuned right.
It's not really the chemo, but let's just go with the chemo. Hey, if Skylar's happy, then,
Alternative medicine. I mean, Eastern healing.
As long as it doesn't interfere with that treatment. Anything that helps my patient have a better outlook, better comfort, is fine by me.
So you're saying it's just all psychological? Doesn't make any real difference.
Having a better outlook can make a tremendous difference.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also important that we manage our expectations.
That's right. It's better to have a healthy mind, right? Whoa. That fit, though. Red and blue, would you look at that? Always the 2 primary colors. There was also a red and blue lamp behind the doctor in the previous scene.
Hell, why not the mall? Wait at the Gap. Hey, it's time for the meet. Tuco, comes and steals my drugs and leaves me bleeding to death.
Huh? Speak of the devil.
Look, you don't have to be here for this. Okay, I mean, seriously.
But he wants to. It's also good for Jesse to, you know, to see it in action, right? Oh, Walter's ready.
Hey, what are we doing way the hell out here? What, they closed the mall or something?
Jess, that was brilliant. That was brilliant.
Told me 2 pounds, and now you waste my time with these chiclets? 17 and a half. Minus the half for wasting my time.
Hey, come on.
What? You gonna argue? You got something to say?
I want all of it. 70 grand.
What did you say?
You like this product, and you want more. Consider it a capital investment.
Local bald motherfucker. $52 and a half. 25 points big. Big.
Interest weekly.
Hey, it's better. Yeah.
2 pounds next Friday and no production problems.
Can you handle 4 pounds?
Yo.
Listen, old man. Talk is talk. But owing me money, that's bad.
Hey, Jesse. Yeah, Jesse has seen it all, right? Gotta ramp up those productions.
We're not going to need pseudoephedrine. We're going to make phenylacetone in a tube furnace. Then we're going to use reductive amination to yield methamphetamine, 4 pounds.
So no pseudo.
No pseudo.
Look at the master at work.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
Time to shop once again.
M&M tube furnaces.
It's MM.
M&M's. Oh man.
All right, I'm leaving town. I'm moving to like Oregon.
Come on, Jesse.
Today is the first day of the rest of your life.
What are you doing?
This is the first day of the rest of your life, but what kind of life will it be, huh?
I love these two so much. Walter playing like the good game here, like convincing Jesse, but not in like the forceful way. Still forceful, but you know, more positive.
Welcome to your baby shower,
Esmeralda?
Right up the nose. Don't. Okay, not up the back. Next to me.
This is cute.
Right after the party, your name was changed to Holly.
Holly.
Yeah. I dropped her off at the curb, then I married Shania Twain and lived happily ever after.
Oh, Hank.
Oh,
Oh, so many things must be flowing into his head right now. Like the fact that he may not actually see his daughter at all.
Wherever you go, whatever you do in life, always know that you have a family who loves you very, very much.
Look at those little feet.
Hey. Walter Jr., come on, bro.
Okay.
Hank in the back with Walter?
It's a tiara.
I love this, the little hesitation of like, because she doesn't want to answer wrong, so she's like processing it.
But it's really,
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Walt. You got anything stronger than beer?
Yeah, have a little boy talk.
You mind if I have one?
You think that's a good idea?
Hank, I've already got lung cancer.
Okay. You got me there.
Now, I was under the impression that these were illegal.
Yeah, well, sometimes forbidden fruit tastes the sweetest, doesn't it?
How we draw that line.
Yeah.
What line is
is that?
I'm just saying it's arbitrary.
Arbitrary, yeah.
From now to stuff that's legal that shouldn't be.
True.
Used to sell it over every counter at every pharmacy across America.
There's something powerful about Walt just smoking a cigar. Like,
I was thinking about driving up on Friday, coming back Sunday. I mean, if you're okay with that.
Well, of course I'm okay with that.
a very likely excuse. One that is very believable.
Sweat Lodge?
Yeah.
I'm already sweating. Help me out.
These jokes.
So these thieves, did they say where they would be stealing it from?
A chemical supply place south of town.
We're gonna do it.
So why don't we just steal it ourselves?
Yeah.
How are we gonna do that?
Oh, that look on Walter's face. Using the what?
So, what's this stuff called again? World War II, the Germans had an artillery piece. It's the biggest in the world.
Uh-huh.
The Gustav gun.
Right. It's a really long, like, cannon.
With just a bag of this, and he could melt right through 4 inches of solid steel and destroy that gun forever.
Jeez.
I love it. Walter's having fun.
Mr. Wilson, I'd like you to watch this lady while I phone the police.
Whoa, excuse me?
Ma'am, this item is stolen, as I'm sure you know. Come with me, please.
God damn it, Marie! Should have known. I mean, she stole a shoe and like.
Illegally detained, an innocent pregnant woman in a dank storeroom.
This is my office.
This is my office. that worked? Holy shit, that worked. Oh, look at this. We're getting a heist on Breaking Bad? Red and green. Man, these two. How they started, and then here we are. Stealing from like a factory or someplace. And both of them are in on it. It's crazy. They gonna lock him? Yep.
Jesus.
It worked, but now the alarm's off.
What the hell are you doing opening the door? How are you to take the thing out? Come on.
I love the chaos between these two. First ever heist. What a shot. The juxtaposition of everything is just incredible. That was great. Back to the basement.
You're a real estate agent. When is she supposed to come back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's a problem. She's gonna appear in like 5 seconds. She is right in front of them. Right in front of the house. Well, this is a problem.
4.5 pounds puts us $44,000 ahead.
Right on, man.
I mean, in your situation, how much cash do you need?
More.
Oh no. And the fact that it is an open house is holy shit.
Was there by any chance scheduled for this afternoon.
Oh man, this episode.
I don't care how you do it. Just keep them out of here. Do you understand?
Yeah. Let Walter do the chemical work. Meanwhile,
Can you tell me why you do such a thing? What does that mean? Does that mean you don't know? You're not going to admit this, are you?
of course you won't. I mean, we don't really know for sure, but we're just going on the basis that Marie had stolen stuff in the past, right? Oh, that's right. The ventilation. Just spray some. I like this episode.
So how was it? Was it an experience?
No, the holiday was an experience, all right.
It was definitely an experience.
Yeah.
You know that tiara that Marie gave us? She stole it. I practically got arrested trying to return it at the store.
Walter's unfazed, as usual.
People sometimes do things for their families.
Mm-hmm.
And what, that justifies stealing?
No, but
That must have been some sweat lodge.
What would you do if it were me?
here we go. That's the question. That's the question.
You don't want to find out.
Left as a mystery. I really do like how the relationship between these two has grown better, especially for Skylar. But it's clear like it's built upon lies after lies.
Oh, tight, yeah. Oh, blue, yellow, pink. Whatever, man. Just keep bringing me that. You're all right, man. You're all right. We're gonna make a lot of money together.
Just remember who you're working for.
Hmm.
Are you saying that they're stupid?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay, so you're not saying that they're stupid.
You're just speaking for me. Like I ain't got the goddamn sense to speak for myself.
Tuco was yelling like holy shit.
Hey, why don't we all just relax, huh?
I love Tuco, man. I love Tuco. He's so charismatic. Steals the scene every time.
I'm relaxed.
He's not relaxed. He is not relaxed. Yeah. Holy Jesus. Cutting back and forth between the hits and yeah, that's who you're working with. The reflection in Jesse's eyeglasses.
Next week.
Oh man, that dude is fucked. Yeah, Walter, that could have been you. That could have been you. Last episode. The slow looking at each other and then yeah. Red and blue. Well, that was the end of the episode. Did I mention how I love Tuco's character? Because I love Tuco's character. He is a scene stealer. Alright? Like, I like him when we were first introduced to him in the previous episode. Come on. He's an eccentric guy. Come on, he's charismatic. He steals the scene. He steals the show. Not really steals the show, like still Walter's show, but still. You know, whenever he is on screen, it's gonna be a fun scene. Whether it's gonna be filled with tension or just straight up goofy, over the top acting from Tuco. It's wonderful. It's brilliant. Like I love it when shows manage to have like a balance between their tone. Like everything is very dramatic, dark, Walter's dying. But then you have Tuco, who is also like a part of this drug empire, but he's like very over the top fun and comical to an extent that adds this level of levity to a scene, even if the scene in question ends up being, you know, Tuco literally punching a dude maybe to death, but like after he's a great character. What can I say? I don't know what else to say. Like, I was laughing at him at one point, and then he's just started bashing this dude, and I was like, holy shit. But then after that, he just started laughing, and he's like, and then he just leaves. He's so good. He is such a good character. I would say he does fit the role of an antagonist for now, right? Because I mean, obviously, Walter's greatest enemy is himself. Let's just make that clear. Walter's biggest enemy is himself. Jesse's biggest enemy, I would even also say, is also Walter. But Walter does need a counter, and that counter for now seems to be Tuco, right? They talked about this in, you know, during the scene, right? What led to this dude being, you know, being punched is the fact that, you know, what was his actual line here? Yeah, they gotta know that you're working with, that they're working for you, Tuco. They gotta know that, right? And it's such. Okay, like if you know Walter's character up until this point, right? At least the way I interpret Walter's character, right? We know how much Walter is, you know, somebody who is filled with his pride, his ego, the pursuit of becoming greater, right? And when he does obtain it, he has it jolts him, it reinvigorates him, it makes him new again, right? We see this in the previous episode towards the end when Walter finally, you know, beat Tuco in a way, right? Blowing his place up, getting the money, right? Basically submitting Tuco to the point where Tuco has to give him the money and, you know, accepts his deal, right? To Walter, that is a sort of, you know, that's a sign of dominance, right? I talked about this at length in the previous episode's discussion of like how they were using like camera placements and camera angles to showcase like which one is showing dominance, especially in, you know, between Tuco and Walter and Tuco and Jesse, right? With when they were talking with when Jesse was talking with Tuco has the upper hand. Tuco was showing dominance towards Jesse, but when Tuco was talking to Walter, Walter was the one who was standing, Tuco was sitting, showcasing that Walter is the one taking control of the scene. Walter is the one who is asserting dominance, and Tuco is the one that is forced to, you know, to stand up and be, you know, on the same eye level as Walter, you know, to be as like as you know, as one, right? So already there's this like power struggle, this power balance between these two, and again, it's coming back to this episode. It is also reinforced, right? It is now more than ever being told to the audience, hey, this is a matter of who is in control, who works for who. In Tuco's mind, they are working for him. But I don't, and in Jesse's mind, he may also think that way. But for Walter, nah, that's not what Walter thinks. That's not what Walter wants. No. Ultimately, I think Walter, you know, especially with how Hank describes Walter, right? This new kingpin, right? He wants to take over. Walter wants to show that his work, his craft is something that is so pure, so incredibly valuable that people should only go to him. He is the producer. He is the one creating this, right? Ultimately, I would say the end game, at least when it comes to Tuco, is for Tuco to only rely on Walter. And if that happens, then Walter wins the game, right? Walter becomes the leader, right? He is the one who controls Tuco at that point, right? That's like the ultimate goal for now, right? There's still way more bigger goals to catch, but but for now, on the scale of this town, Tuco is the one that is standing in the way between Walter, right, and basically the next level, right? So the fact that they are telling this, that they are working for you, kind of makes me feel like the next season we're gonna see a slight flip, if you will, a change in power, a new order, whatever you want to call it. So I'm pretty hype. I am actually pretty hype. Now, Tuco punching him, and then we, I love the way we cut back and forth between Tuco's punches and Walter's, like perspective, like punch Walter's face, punch Walter's face, punch Walter's face. It's every time, right? We zoom in every time, and it just reinforces that. Yeah. Walter is not ready. We may think that Walter is ready. Walter himself may think that he is ready, like he's the top dog, right? I mean, he just blew up a building in the previous episode, right? With like chemicals and shit. Pretty cool stuff. But there's a difference between Walter taking somebody's life in episode 3, right? Taking Emilio's life with the justification that it is self-defense, and Tuco presumably taking somebody's life where the justification is none. He's just having fun. He's punching and presumably killed that dude simply because that dude. He's not even going against Tuco. It's just he's showing. It's like going against him, even though he's not going against them. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? You know the context behind the scene, right? He stepped out of line. Like, I didn't told you to do this. I didn't told you to say this. I didn't told you to represent me. What are you doing? This is not your job. So let me put you in place. That was basically what Tuco was doing, right? And the fact that Tuco did it, unfazed, right? When it comes to Jesse in the previous episode, sure, right? Jesse's like a customer that may have gone on, on his bad side, right? Disagreeing with him, right? But still, an outsider. This is like Tuco's like closest, like close bodyguard, for example, right? Like the fact that they couldn't get near Tuco, or at least couldn't get to Tuco's like good side, and if they go to Tuco's bad side, this is the result. Yeah, problems, issues, and conflict, right? Gotta be careful. Now there's tension. Now we know if you mess with Tuco, you're gonna get the punch. It is horrifying, yes. Jesse is more in like disbelief, like what the fuck just happened. But for Walter, this is more eye-opening, right? This is more like, hey, yeah, this is the world that you are stepping into, so you better prepare yourself, right? That moment was a wake-up call, right? Walter has been incredibly developing his character throughout this entire season, right? From the moment we met him in the first episode up until this very moment, Walter has been changing every now and again, right? Walter has been evolving. He has turned into somebody new, right? He has become Heisenberg. But there's still a lot more to this world that he does not know. That moment, when Tuco was punching him, was punching that dude, that was an eye-opening moment for Walter as well. It's the realization that there may be somebody more crazy and terrifying than Tuco. It's just the thought of that, right? takes the glasses off. Yeah. Puts on his real glasses. Man! Have I said that this show is great? Yeah, this show is great. Okay, let's dial back in again. Let's go back to the beginning, shall we? So, Walter and Skylar doing some really naughty things during the meeting. This ties back to the previous episode, and it also ties back to the first episode, right? Especially the first episode, right? Because in the first episode, we obviously we see like Walter and Skylar's like relationship not that good at all. They're kind of close but distant in a way. Like Walter's not really pursuing her that much, and Skylar is also seeking attention and all, which she isn't really getting from Walter because Walter's mind is busy looking elsewhere, right? But then, of course, Walter went on this crazy adventure with Jesse in the first episode that just went to places that Walter has never been to before, and it was exhilarating. It was making his heart beat really, really fast, and it was really, adrenaline pumping. And by the end of the first episode, Walter comes back home, rests beside Skylar, and as we all remember, he and Skylar starts having sex, right? And I am afraid that this is going to be some sort of like the best word to describe it is like an addiction, right? Where you do something, and in our minds, in our eyes, it is a very dangerous thing to do. I mean, it is, right? It is a life and death situation. But the fact that you are doing it, the fact that Walter is doing it, showcases there is bravery in a way, right? There's a sense of, that I could do it. Like, I'm the king of the world. And that feeling gets to him, right? That feeling pumps him. That feeling gives him energy, and it gives him confidence, and it reinvigorates him. It makes him, in a way, young again. And Walter obviously loves this, right? In the previous episode, that was abundantly clear. After Walter took Tuco by surprise, got the money, showed him who's boss, and then goes back to the car, he was like shouting and screaming, like the adrenaline was like, woo, yeah. Now we're seeing it in a more sexual way, right? There's this, it's Walter alleviating some sexual tension and frustration. And of course, for Skylar, as somebody who is, as she is like somebody who is like also desperately, wanting this, looking for this, because this has been something that has been like, in a way, something that she hasn't been experiencing in a while. Of course she wants it. Of course she's like into it. Of course she's like, okay, Walter, fine. But again, I am slightly worried that this may become an addiction, and this will be like the thing that is pushing Walter, right, to his breaking point and to everybody else's breaking point, right, where Walter is going to be like, no, we gotta do it, and then everybody's gonna be like, no, Walter, that is enough, don't. But then for Walter, it's like, no, we have to do it, right? It's that. I'm kind of scared. Also, I just realized this when I'm looking straight at this. I may be overreaching this, but this is just something that just immediately pops in the back of my mind. So I'm noticing Walter's like clothing and the color of that clothing, right? He is wearing blue, like a blue shirt, but it's, but he is also, is it a blue shirt? Yeah, it is a blue shirt, and then he wears a sweater, right? A green sweater. So we all know at this point it's pretty established that blue is synonymous with Skylar, right? That is her color, sky, right? And as for Walter, it's Walter's color varies every now and again, but it's mostly blue. I'm sorry, it's mostly green, right? It's the color of the show. It's the color of the show, and it is like the primary color and theme of the show, right? Green. Again, it may be an overreach, but I am kind of seeing it as how the sweater, in this case Walter, is giving comfort and warmth to Skylar, the blue shirt underneath, right? That, hey, it's okay, it's alright, I got you, I protect you. But at the same time, you can also see it as, yeah, the green is taking over the blue. Ultimately, green is the dominant color of the two. Ultimately, it's Walter taking care of Skylar, but he's not letting her go. He's not letting her do her own thing. It's like, yeah, I got you, but I got you. You know, like control. It's again, dominance. Walter wants to save his family. Walter wants to make sure that they are left in, you know, good care. But for all the time that he has left, obviously Walter wants to take care of him, wants to take care of them, you know, to the best of his abilities. But in order to do so, Walter is also kind of limiting them, kind of controlling them, right? No, you can't do this, you can't do that, no. Gotta do it my way. Obviously not to that extreme yet, but we have seen examples of it in the past, right? And again, it's not directly controlling them, but it's more like, how do I describe it? Like it's secondary control. Walter's actions in the world ultimately changes the way some of these characters live. Again, it's not to an extreme level yet. In fact, thinking about it, I don't think there's like an actual moment where Walter fully changes them at all, but his actions are affecting the world, right? Even now, like looking at this, like even now, Walter's actions have resulted in this meeting, right? That ultimately Skylar is joining. Ultimately, Skylar is also thinking about it, right? Like it's those little things, right? We're just in the beginning stages of it, but I would not be surprised if later on, you know, when things are ramping up, it's gonna get wild. Also, meth equals death. The show's not even hiding it anymore. I feel like that's pretty on the nose on like, yeah, Walter creating meth and doing meth and diving into the world of meth is gonna be the death of him. Yeah, we get it, show. We get it. But thanks for reminding us. Now, briefly talking about Walter wearing sunglasses. Again, like I don't know how long this is gonna last, like how long Walter's gonna keep wearing sunglasses, but I do want to mention this. I would say wearing sunglasses or just wearing glasses in general in a way is very symbolic for a lot of characters, at least a lot of characters that I've seen in various different works of fiction, symbolizing a mask, symbolizing a persona, like there's somebody behind those glasses, right? It's the look when it's the eyes, basically, what I'm trying to say. Right, underneath those glasses, underneath those shades, it's somebody. It's somebody's soul. It's somebody's personal self, right? And if you're trying to look at somebody, you know, in person, right, you always look at them in the eye, right? Because that is where you're staring them, right? That's when you're literally staring them in your soul, right? So I'm curious to see like how long will Walter be wearing these sunglasses, because clearly Walter is wearing the sunglasses and the hat, you know, to signify that Walter is currently being Heisenberg right now, right? And at the end of the episode, after the exchange with Tuco, Walter takes off the sunglasses because he is no longer Heisenberg in the scene. He is back to Walter, right? He has seen the shit that Tuco has done. Curious to see like how long this is gonna last, But if it lasts long, then I want to see a moment where Walter finally takes off the glasses completely, because at that point it would be, it would be a moment where Heisenberg and Walter becomes one and the same. Because right now Heisenberg and Walter are two separate characters. I'm gonna say it like that, right? Because Heisenberg is the character that is dealing with creating meth and drugs and all that stuff. Walter is the character who is the family man, who is the person who is taking care of Skyler, Walter Jr., Hank, Marie, which I'm gonna talk about soon, and everything else, right? Two completely different characters, all walking in the same body, right? So the moment when Walter will eventually, again, either take off the mask but still presents himself as Heisenberg, that to me is when the character Heisenberg and the character Walter White becomes one and the same. There's no difference between them, between those two. There's no reason to separate them at all. You know what I mean? It's that moment when a person finally realizes how dumb they are by having an alias and nah, man, I'm just gonna use my real name. Obviously, Walter's probably not gonna use his real name, but you get the idea, right? It's more symbolic, if anything. Anyways, Marie, where is she? So here's the thing, right? I mean, we know Marie has stolen stuff before in the past. We know this. We've seen it before. We've seen her done it before, and now she's doing it again. My question is, why? Why is she doing this? Why is she stealing stuff? Why? Why is she committing this crime? Right? That's my question. Why? Because I don't know why. What is the ulterior motive? Is it just because you can get it for free and you don't need to spend money? Now I'm curious to know, Marie and Hank's, personal life. Because again, Marie is married to Hank, who is a police officer. A police officer who is smoking probably illegal stuff, but hey, it's I really can't pinpoint it. I really cannot pinpoint it at the moment, because right now I feel like Skyler. I 100% feel like Skyler, and if this is what they're aiming for, then they are nailing it, because right now I am just as confused as Skyler. Why are you doing this, and why aren't you giving me an answer? Why can't you explain why you're doing this? And I feel like this is going to be a very similar situation to Walter, maybe sometime in the future, right? When he is finally caught by somebody that we know, right? Maybe it's Walter Jr., maybe it's actually Skyler herself, maybe it's Hank, I don't know. But obviously Walter's not gonna admit it, which will lead to those characters in frustration, and that is exactly what I'm feeling right now with Mary. Why are you doing this? You almost got Skyler in trouble. Why? Not hating her character, by the way. I think it's great. I think it's great that we have a mystery character and we have no idea her motives, what her motives are. Because as far as I'm concerned, the only, as far as I'm concerned, she's only doing it because she could get those items for free. So now I'm thinking, does she have monetary problems? Financial problems? Doesn't seem like it, considering Hank seems like all fine and dandy. Or is this an issue because that she is married with Hank? Because he's a police officer, and because of that there's a lot of restrictions in her life as well, probably, right? Because you're living with somebody who is the law, right? Whose life is all about the rules, even though Hank sometimes break the rules, or not break the rules, bend the rules, right? But we only see him do it whenever Walter's around. So I'm curious to see how Hank and Marie's again personal life is. Very curious. Again, I have nothing else to add aside from the fact that I have no idea why Marie is doing it, but It definitely adds some mystery to her character, that's for sure. And lastly, let's not forget our boy Jesse. Especially when it comes to this episode, it really showcases like Jesse's relationship with Walter and their dynamic, and I am loving it. I am absolutely loving it. Crazy to see how their relationship was at the beginning of the season. Very rocky, very a lot of miscommunications, a lot of animosity between them, a lot of I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, you do that, I don't want to do that. And now look at them working together, stealing some stuff, stealing some chemical shit. Oh man, also another thing that I didn't really mention much throughout this discussion is like just how well directed this episode is and how more light it is. Like I definitely laughed a lot more than like a couple of episodes of Breaking Bad so far, but like I'm enjoying it. Like it's not out of tone at all. Like in fact, it was almost cathartic in a way to see Jesse and Walter, acting this way, like all buddies and stuff, compared to like their rocky relationship and how they started in the beginning of the season. I don't know, it's really fun to see Jesse and Walter getting along so well to the point that they could just, do something like this, right? Episode 1, Walter would never do this, like, let alone plan it. Now Walter's the one who's like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. It's fun. It's fun to see characters grow and change. For the better, obviously, this is not for the better, this is for the worse, but, they're having fun, so let's just put it that way. Yeah, Jesse, this episode has been way more, I'm gonna say this word again, obedient, right? Jesse's a lot more, I wouldn't say calmer, but he is a lot more okay with whatever Walter throws at him, right? In like episode 2, Walter gives him like a list of stuff that he needs to buy, and Jesse's like, I don't want to buy this shit, I don't want to buy that stuff, like why do I have to buy this, right? Why do I have to use this? Why do I have to use that? I have this at home, right? And ultimately that leads to, their first major problem, not their first major problem, but a problem nonetheless, right? Where Jesse just pours in some of these liquids and we know what happened. So the fact that Jesse's like, okay, you want me to buy this? Okay, fine. I'll buy it for you. And then he buys it. Really expensive stuff. Kind of shows how much more respect Jesse has for Walter, but it also shows how much more influence Walter has for Jesse. Right? I know I've been kind of painting Walter in a very bad light in all of my discussions for Breaking Bad. Always saying, oh, he's controlling this, he's controlling that, he's, he's showing dominance and all that, but that's just how I feel, right? That's just how I see his villainous side. But ultimately, this sort of relationship that we are seeing, that I am seeing between Jesse and Walter, is a really fun relationship to see grow, right? Like multiple times in this episode, when Walter gives an idea, Jesse's like, all right, yeah, man, let's go. That's what I'm talking about, Mr. White, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of energy that was absent in the first couple of episodes, because in the first couple of episodes, in fact, in episode 2, Jesse was pretty angry at Walter, right? Like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Right? But now Jesse's like just going with the flow. Again, like, character development, right? Is it for the better or for the worse? I don't know. So far, for my interpretation, maybe for the worse, because this kind of just shows that Jesse's like way more obedient and is willing to do whatever Walter's gonna do. So if Walter's gonna do something really terrible and shitty, well, Jesse's probably gonna do it as well, which isn't really good. So yeah, that's my take on Jesse for this episode. Like not a Jesse-centric episode. This was mostly a Walter and his dynamic with his family-centric episode, and Walter dealing, with his new persona as Heisenberg, and how Walter, kind of gets a kick out of creating all of these and doing all of these crazy antics and all of these crazy adventures that he have never imagined before. Something that he is definitely missing in his entire life, right? Could have been better. Could have been this renowned scientist. But nope. I'm just this miserable man who is dying and has, you know, hasn't left his mark on the world yet. So he's giving it his all. What a good show. What a good show. And that is the end of season 1. I do know that season 1 was cut short because of a writer's strike during the time that it was writing, during the time that this show was airing. So presumably the first episodes of season 2 was supposed to be the finale of season 1 or something like that. But yeah, this doesn't really strike me as a season finale, but it does end on a pretty good note in regards to Walter, because and his character, right? Because we start the season with Walter who doesn't know who he is, who's having trouble with, you know, with his wife, with Skylar. Now we are in the final episode. Walter is getting along with Jesse really, really well. Walter is getting along with Skylar really, really well. Walter found his calling, if you will. He becomes a new person, a reborn person, right? Becoming Heisenberg. But at the same time, is this really the right place to go? Is this really the right path? Right? Is this really the way to go? Walter taking off his sunglasses and putting his real ones back, his real glasses back, is signifying that Walter is still unsure, right? So I think it's a pretty good place to end. Like, if they're gonna cut a season a couple of episodes short and this is where they're gonna end it, I am fine. In fact, I think this is like a good place to end your season. It may not feel like a season finale, but thematically it does feel like a season finale. So I am happy with Breaking Bad season 1, and I'm excited to watch season 2. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all so much for watching my journey with Breaking Bad. We are 1 season into this show. We still have a couple of more and another series after that. It's gonna be a long ride. It's gonna be a long, long ride. But I hope you guys are in for it, because I am. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. Leave a like if you haven't already. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you all next time for Breaking Bad Season 2. Take care, have a nice day, peace.